is I'm Shiva X, and I'm back again with another video. This one titled Scorpio Rising, We Are Gods. So, the thing about this world is, for a long time, we have been in a sleep state. And slowly but surely, we've been waking up. But we've been waking up in little ways, such as the law of attraction. The law of attraction is nothing more than using the free will of God to control your reality. That's all it is. Free will is the power that the ultimate God, the higher power, the higher creator has given us. So, if I sit here and I say we are gods, what does that actually mean? Imagine if there was a huge ocean, right? A large body of water. And that large body of water together is the one all God created. Now, so what happens is people tend to go and they take a bottle, right? And they fill up the bottle with water as such. And we start to say, we're no longer this spirit or this godly spirit or this Holy Spirit that's within this body. We start to believe that we're just the bottle. And the thing about it is, what you think about is what you become. So we've been tricked out of our power by only being taught that we are just a bottle or we're just the flesh. But we're way more than the flesh. We're the spirit within the flesh, right? And you can control every single thing with your thoughts. You know, they try to tell us stuff like, oh, the law of attraction. The law of attraction is real, but it's way more bigger than that. Because you see, a human can't use the law of attraction. If you're somehow using the law of attraction, just know right now you are a god. Now, if you think back to Egyptian times, when everybody was gods, you see, there wasn't no such thing as a pagan god. What happened is, which is what's happening right now, the Egyptians of the time began to wake up. They began to wake up to their true power and their true nature of who they really are, just as we're doing. And what they realized is that your thoughts actually control your reality. So that means what you're thinking about is what you become. They've been telling us this our whole life. If you're a Scorpio rising, I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. So what you have to do is, you have to begin to own your power and stop giving your power away. You give your power away by thinking negative thoughts, the thoughts that don't bring you to your true godly self. So what I've been doing is, once I came across this knowledge, I trained myself to only think of myself as a god. So from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to sleep, I was telling myself, I am the god of blank. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and tell you what my actual power that I chose to have is, but let's just say I did a pretty ultimate power. I chose a pretty supreme OD power. And for the smart ones out there, I'm just telling you, it's everything. It's a term that is everything, and everything is it, but it's one word. Now, I'm gonna keep that for myself, and if you're smart enough to figure that out, then you can become the god of that as well. But what happened back in Egyptian times is, people decided that they figured out, okay, so now we're gods, now what? So once you figure out that you're a god, you gotta figure out what your passion is. You gotta figure out what you love, what you like to do. For instance, some people like singing. Some of the Egyptians people back then liked singing. So they said, I am the god of singing. And they began to only think that. And once you train your mind and your thoughts to only think something like that, you become it. You have no other choice but to become what you think, because you are what you think. So the main key to it all is, you have to retrain your mind out of this human state. Because this human state of where you can think negativity all the time will further pull you away from your true power. All right? So now we said that the Egyptians were gods, right? And not just the Egyptians, but a lot of people at that time, a lot of people around the world woke up to their true power. They became the god of whatever they liked. They liked singing, they liked dancing, they liked partying. If they liked sex, they became a sex god. And that's how they was rocking. But you see, we came up with a good term, and I'm gonna help explain who were the people that worship the gods. Now, a lot of people in this world right now aren't real. They're part of the simulation. Kind of like when you go to sleep and you dream at night, and then you dream about somebody, and then the person that you dream about, it's like they're real. It's like they sound just like the real person. They act just like the real person. What you have to realize is a lot of people in your life, including some of your family members, are only a part of the simulation. The simulation to wake you up. And that's why you may have been going through a lot of situations where you had to cut a lot of family off, or you had to cut a lot of friends off, because they weren't gods, and they weren't vibrating at the frequency that you were vibrating at. Now, a wise man once told me that God is always talking to you in your mind. However, if you don't listen to him, then he shows you it through the people that you surround yourself around. So that may be why you feel like you can't trust anybody, or that a lot of people are doing some cutthroat stuff or shady stuff, or just downright not righteous. And for a Scorpio rising, it happens in the most unbearable ways at times, or it has happened. But those times are over, because I know after this video, the world will be awakened. And it's not just Scorpio risings. We're not the only gods, but we're the ones that tend to be like a sexual god, if that's the thing, if you can understand that. But every other zodiac sign, every other being, I'm gonna use the term being, a lot of godly beings on this planet. A lot of us are waking up. You know, they try to give it names like a witch, or angels, or a warlock. They aren't nobody. They were just people that realized their power. And they may not have realized that they had power. And a lot of stuff has been going on. Like, the CIA had released documents talking about everything that they put in the movies under the title of fiction is actually real. But they put it under the title of fiction so that you will believe that it's fake, which in return takes your power away from you. They also released documents saying that everything is a hologram, and that we're controlling the thoughts with our reality. So that means that the people you surround yourself around, the places you go, is only a figment of your imagination that you are creating. That with your thoughts, you can change the entire world. Who can do that but a god? Or what they use the term of God. So like I said, back in Egyptian times, the term God meant to remember. So now is the time for you to remember. It's time for you to stop eating unhealthy foods. It's time for you to stop doing low vibrational things and surrounding yourself around low vibrational people. It's time for you to raise your vibration. It's time for you to eat good foods, eat life. And this is how you know if a food has life in it, right? You can take like a piece of fried chicken and you can put it on the table, and then you can go ahead and take some watermelon, put the watermelon on the table, and you can put it outside. Now, once you put it outside, the flies will come. Flies only tend to go on things that are negative, low vibrational, or just some bullshit. I guarantee you that some fresh cut fruit, which contains life within it, Flies won't even get on it. They won't touch it because they know that fruit is meant for the gods. Healthy junk food and nasty stuff that we put in our bodies, that they told us to put in our bodies. Oh yeah, flies gonna get all up over that. The flies, the roaches, all of that. The scavengers, they gonna eat that. So again, you have to start eating the food of the gods, which are fruits. You never heard about pharaohs eating junk food, fast food. You always heard about pharaohs sitting down like kings and being fed grapes and fruits. So the kings, the pharaohs, the gods of the olden times, they were polygamous. They had multiple wives. You see, because what they say, women want real men. Now, the definition of how I feel a real man is a god, is a king. Now, the number of women nowadays outnumber the number of men. And this happens for a reason. Because if you're a woman and you're dating your simulation, or the simulation that you create in your mind, he's not going to be real. You see what I'm saying? You're going to control him. He's not going to do as a king or a pharaoh should act. Now, there were only a few gods because there were many simulations. Now, this is why the kings and the gods had multiple women. Because once the women found out that a lot of the men in the world were simulations, and only a few of the men were gods, what they have to do? They had to jump ship and go with the king, or the pharaoh, or the god. And that's why a lot of pharaohs had like 200 wives. Because there are more people who are simulated in this world than there are gods. And that's just for the gods to have fun, to enjoy, to learn, to experience. So what you have to do is, you have to remember your strength. You have to remember your power. You have to remember that you are the entire creator of this simulation. And then you got to link up with other kings, link up with other pharaohs, build your chessboard up, build your power up, raise your vibration, and chase your dream. Become that God. Now, a way to do this is, like I said, once you eat death, or once you eat negative food, fast food, just all this you know what it is. I ain't got to sit here and list it. But all this unhealthy food, once you eat that, that carries death. So it carries negativity. It carries negative thoughts. These negative thoughts is what you think in your mind and brings your vibration down. But once you cut out them foods and you start only eating life, then you begin to think more positive thoughts. You start to become more positive. You start to become more healthy. All right? And then you can take back control of your mind and force your mind to only think what you want it to think. Then you can create only what you want to create and live how you want to live. But as long as you're putting or ingesting foods that bring negativity, then your mind is going to be surrounded by negativity. And then you're only going to create a negative simulation. So again, eat positive foods, drink positive elixirs. I mean, it's a lot of good things out there. It's a lot of superfoods, a lot of great foods. What they say, maca root, that's something good right there. Atomic gold, atomic ormus, that's great. Hell, alkaline water. Fill your body up with all of these things, and then you can easily control your thoughts. And once you start controlling your thoughts, you start controlling your world. You start to see that everything is on go for you. So as always, I want to go ahead and thank you guys for watching. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe. And if you got any questions about this video, drop it in the comment box. As always, peace, love, and blessings to you. And I hope you reach your God power.